Greetings, Peter Nelson here with Full Service Property Management. And I want to talk to you today to those of you who are considering our leasing only option, where we help place a tenant in your rental for you and then pass everything off to you to self manage from there on out. First of all, I think that option works great for a lot of people. That's certainly how I got my start. I bought my first rental in 1985. Yeah, I'm that old. You don't have to remind me. But anyhow, uh, and back in 1985, things were a lot different. But in any case, I was managing my own rentals and I found a lot of good tenants. And I also found a lot of not so good tenants. And out of those experiences, I've been able to put together our very proprietary and very proud tenant screening system, with which I think we've had tremendous success with, and you're considering taking advantage of. So self-management, it's great for some people. Some of the pros to it are you save on a bunch of management fees, the monthly renewal fee, the monthly management fee, the renewal fee. You pay a little more on the leasing fee, but hopefully, if we find you a long-term tenant, in the end, you can save some money that way. Um, Another benefit is, or another pro, is that this is your baby. Presumably, you only have one or a few rentals. And so when something comes about on it, boom, it's got your immediate attention. With professional property managers, a property manager might have anywhere from our property managers from 40 to 50 different units. And certainly we, try to respond as quick as we can. It's not the same having 40 to 50 units as having just one or two. So those are the two primary pros that I can see to self-management. It also gives you a much more hands-on feel as to what's going on in your property. So that's probably an ancillary pro as well. The cons can be rather daunting, I suppose. Probably the biggest one is I see a lot of people trying to self-manage who really don't possess the skill set to handle difficult situations. The tenant starts getting a little rah, 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 complaining or whatever, and it takes really some. I didn't have them either in 1985, but I've developed them. Uh, Skill sets on how to handle difficult tenants, difficult situations, difficult people in general. And so you can learn them, I mean, it's just the school of hard knocks sometimes, but, that's how I did it. But probably, so the skill set I think is probably the biggest because that can get you in trouble. That kind of segues into the legal aspect. And the fact is that it's a whole lot different now than it was in 1985. And the whole legal landscape has just gone berserk. And it's almost a full-time job just keeping up with some of that stuff. And so you can get yourself into trouble. And hiring a property manager provides sort of an insurance policy. Basically, that's a good way to look at management fees, is that you're paying an insurance policy for them to take some of that liability off of you. We don't take it all off of you, but we do certainly take quite a bit of it because you're not required to navigate those treacherous waters around the greater Seattle market. And then probably my biggest one has to do with time. Is property management the highest and best use of your time? When I first started out in 1985, I had my first job was about then too, and I really didn't have much of a life beyond my job. go to work 8 hours a day and come home, and I could manage whatever came up at the rental if I needed to. In the 21st century, boy, things have sped up. Now we've got these things called cell phones and this other stuff called email. And then someone went and invented texting and notifications and alerts, and just everything is happening so fast that all of a sudden time becomes a real issue. And passing it off, hiring somebody to take that off the plate can open up your plate for a higher and better use, either spending your time more productively at your job or with family or friends. That's probably the biggest one. A metric to help you is if you do your own taxes, then you might be a candidate for self-management. If you do your own legal, then you might be a candidate for property management. But if you hire those kinds of things out, I would definitely recommend hiring the property management out also. The state of Washington groups property managers in the same professional services category as accountants and, unfortunately, lawyers. If you're a lawyer, don't sue me. But in any case, those are professional services. It takes a lot of skill sets to be a property manager. We got to be a marketer, an accountant, a lawyer, a maintenance person, an enforcer, just so many different hats. So a lot of times it's better off doing that. I will leave you with one thought, though. When I turned my rental portfolio over to our property manager, and these are property managers that I hired in my style, I found that overall the quality of service actually decreased. And the reason was because they weren't me. They weren't doing things exactly the way I would do them. They had their own nuances, even though I trained them. So I saw a small dip, I think, in what I was expecting in the quality of service. It was satisfactory, don't get me wrong, but it was less than what I was used to giving it. And you give that up. What I found was that by releasing myself out of those in the weeds kind of property management tasks, it released me to a much higher and bigger purpose in life. And I found my mind expanding, my time being used for much better purposes. And I've never gone back. And quite frankly, I never will. Once you've gone down that path, it's kind of like air conditioning. Once you've had it, you don't go back. So for me, that was my experience. The quality went down a little bit. Quality of life on the property manager, quality of life went way up. The net was, I ain't going back. So those are some things to think about when you want to do leasing only or have us just manage it from the get-go. I will say that we do have an option if within the first 3 months of your self-management, you decide, I really don't want to be involved with this. Peter's right, I do have a higher and better purpose in my time. We'll take the management and manage it for you. We'll credit you all the differences in the fee structures and everything else. So it looks like you signed up for full service management right from day one. So we do have that little 3-month guarantee, if you will. Hopefully that gives you some things to think about. And if you have any other questions, certainly feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help. Take care.